Your body transformation is out of alignment. Let's dig deeper with that one. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Coach Reva. I'm the founder of Blue Jay Fitness, and I help ambitious moms and entrepreneurs with sustainable fat loss and body sculpting so that they can show up confidently and with certainty as they strive in their calling. My goal is to help you to get to your mission by helping you manage your stress and create a new identity for yourself. Let's dig in. Your transformation is out of alignment. Now, 80% of people will go about their transformation dieting and exercising, while research already shows that diets do not work. But this is the way that we have been trained. We have been conditioned to use our left brain thinking. So what this usually looks like is macro counting, or we will focus emphasis on protein, right? Our carbs are reducing the amount of carbs that we spend, and healthy fats. And while this will get you further along the way, it will not help you to achieve long-term results because your transformation is out of alignment. What do we do, right, to get back or stay on course, right? Because a lot of times that's all we continuously do is get back on course without ever truly understanding what it looks like or feels like to stay on course. And what I want to introduce you to is a framework that I have created that allows you to use your right brain. You have to think deeper on this because most statistics and nutrition and exercise regimens are based on the average American. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, average looks like a 40-year-old ambitious mom, career mom, and entrepreneur who is a single mother, right, out here providing for her family and her children while also trying to achieve the American dream or American version of success, right? So I don't know if that looks like you, but if it does, then you may represent something that is outside of the statistic, right? You have to take time and be explorative when it comes down to your own body. Am I saying ditch the science, ditch the research? Hell no. What I'm saying is let's begin to do some experimentation to see how your body reacts and responds to the sciences. And this is a much deeper approach, right? And it allows you to go from just the physical plane, right, and ascend to the mental plane of self-discovery. Now when we get into the mental plane, right, usually I see the women that have adopted the physical practices and they are posting or showing pride in their before and after pics, right? But with this pride, right, they will look at this and this could either rise their energy and spirits or it can lower it. I mean, even some before and afters that I have seen where women have lost 15, 20 pounds of weight within my program and their waistlines are substantially smaller. And you can see visibly the changes that have been made on the outside, right? They will mentally still look at that version of themselves, right? And judge themselves and look at the back row that is left or the stomach that they still want to see even more progress with, or they'll judge their butt and say, oh, they want it lifted, right? Full of vanity, but not understanding that this brings them more and more out of alignment because they don't realize that the state of being that they're in is judging themselves. And the more that they engage in this behavior, right, just of judging, or they have the personality of an overachiever, right? So even with all the progress that they've made, they can't look at that before and after picture and just give themselves the amount of credit that they deserve for staying on the mission that long, even if, right, it is the goal set out using the short-term process, which again, 80% of us are going about our transformations this way. But if we don't stop to observe, right, the person that is judging ourselves, right? If we don't stop to observe the overachiever that cannot give themselves credit for the progress that they have made, then we will eventually go back into this cycle of having to restart again, because eventually we'll look at ourselves or we'll look at the scale and render ourselves not good enough. Right? So when we start to dive into this framework, we'll see that when we get on the mental plane, we have to begin to adopt some right brain training. This is especially important if you want to see sustainable results, if you want to get to your long-term mission, and if you have a purpose, right, that is greater, right, than just the physical transformation that you seek. I like to connect with ambitious moms and entrepreneurs that have ideas, creations, and are innovative, that have such grandiose imaginations where I have to really get myself involved, right, with their vision, and not just the vision of themselves, but the vision that they see for their lives, right? So this is crucial in the process of who they're becoming, because confidence is the key and the foundation to you being able to stand on platforms, right? And give your voice and be confident in what you're bringing to the table. So let's think for just a second, because once you come to the awareness of who you are being on a mental plane, right, you'll have to know that your will has to be employed there, right? I want to give you a quick example, because when you are transforming your life and you want to be in alignment, there comes a point in that mental component that you will come up to a test, right? The minute that you say that you are going to have this body transformation and physically transform and become someone new, there will be a test put out, right? I like to call it, those demons will come, right? The minute you do that, there will be a ice cream bonanza, right across the street from you, or your office will have donuts, right? And then it's you versus the donuts and the ice cream, and you are really fighting and battling yourself internally from the person who you are becoming, right, to that old version of you who just wants to get a donut, wants to eat. Now, I'm not ever gonna say to deprive yourself, right, of a donut, but what I want you to do is have a deeper understanding of what happens when you begin to ascend. Because the minute that you gain awareness of yourself and you start to notice the judgy part of you, right, the overachiever part of you, the part of you who needs to be in control, right, you start to ascend Self-awareness is the first level of ascension when it comes to sustainable change. Now, as you start to ascend, you truly come closer to what we call the light, right? You become closer to the light. And the closer that you get to the light, the bigger the shadow gets, right? And that shadow, right, which some of us call, our demons, or we have to face our shadows and do that shadow work, right? We start to recognize and realize ourselves, right? And this is truly how we begin to find a solution to our fat loss, and not just joining the group program that's going to put us on a diet, right? We have to begin to understand the version of ourselves that constantly keeps us on this loop. And as we step closer and closer into that light, which is the Blue Jay way, that shadow gets bigger, right? And this is the point where some women, some ambitious entrepreneurs, they will need a coach. They will need a coach when the shadows become bigger. Let me tell you why. Because as the shadows become bigger, fear sometimes comes up for us. And fear is a biggest block. Fear is the lowest vibration of energy, right? Fear will bring your spirit down, right? Fear will bring you back into that smaller version of you that you're trying to transcend. So if you find yourself in that moment, you know that you have to face that block or clear that block. Because if you are scared, there's a demon there, right? The demon that you probably want to push away, shun, or rebuke, right? Get out of your way. There's that demon there. But guess what? I know we all think that demons are evil and bad, but guess what? That demon that's there could be protecting you. It could be protecting you from the transformation that you are not ready for, right? It could be blocking you for a reason. And I'm going to give you guys a quick, funny, it's just a little joke, but it really just points to this block that I say, right? Because some people are truly afraid of their own greatness. They are afraid of who they have to become, what they have to leave behind or let go of to become this person, right? So that demon, that block is there because you're just not ready. All right. And I want you to know that it's okay to not be ready, right? Some have a client that told me, because when I get into my size 12 and I lose this gut, oh, they're not going to be able to handle me. I'm going on a pole. I'm going to do all of these like out of the box things, right? When you get to this size, right? There's a demon that's blocking you from getting to that size because that version of you, right, is not the higher version of you that you want to ascend to. So you have to make sure that you are in full alignment with your mission so that the sustainable fat loss, the sustainable change that you want to see with your body and with your mental state that has to happen in order for you to keep these results happen. So remember, the closer and closer that you walk in the light or gain awareness of self, especially regarding your transformation, right, which I will walk you through, the bigger the shadow will get, right? You have to be able to face your fears, right? And in this particular program, this looks like revealing your patterns, right? And I want you to understand that this takes time. This takes you being in observer mode. And quite frankly, sometimes this takes a coach looking at things from the outside with an unbiased perspective of you and shedding light on the things that you cannot see, right? Because you are totally immersed in this reality and you have not had the practice of being an observer of self. But when we talk about getting you to your long-term sustainable results, everything has to be in alignment. And I want to give you a quick snapshot, right, of what that can look like just from what I've shared with you today. And if this was helpful, please comment more, right, so that I can get you more information on how to have this change for yourself and not just have it, to keep this change, right? And that's the most important part for me, because as a coach, I have trained hundreds and hundreds of women before I came up to this framework that I've developed. And the women that were on this program had astounding results that got me lots of clients. But check back in 2 years and they have reverted back to the old self. So this right here is something that the market needs in order to transcend into a higher version of themselves that is able to create, right, the version of themselves that God sees. So physically, remember, we have been conditioned to left brain train and diet and exercise, and we're just pairing an action with an action. And although we will see results, they are short term and they are short lived. Most of the results usually last about 2 years, and then people see themselves reverting back to an older version of themselves. And most likely this is because they haven't addressed themselves on the mental plane, right? And that is the version of themselves that can look at a before and after picture with all the progress that they've made and still see that, oh, my butt is still a bit droopy, or, oh, I have a ton of back rolls, or I'm looking at my stomach and it is hanging over the fupa, right? And they are still not confident in themselves, right? And confidence is a feeling. Confidence is the emotion that has to arise in order for you to be able to sustain the results that you get, right? If you get these results and look at a picture and you just sitting there judging yourself, right, for all of the things that you've done, you didn't do, regardless of how far you got in the program, right? Eventually, you are going to get stuck because you are not in the spirit of abundance, or you are not totally in alignment, right? You are aligned physically, but you're not aligned mentally, and you're not aligned emotionally because you're not confident, right? You're not confident that what you're doing is going to get you to your overall goal or desired result. You are not confident in yourself because you have joined a bunch of different programs and completed a lot of diets before, and you have failed countless amount of times. So you don't have any idea what is going to be different about you when you embark on this journey. So you have to embark on your transformation in this way and align yourself across the three planes, which is physical, mental, and emotional, if you want to have these results forever. And if you are an ambitious mom or entrepreneur who has been struggling to maintain their weight loss over the course of 2 to 5 years, please comment more or simply message me so that I can reach out to you and tell you more about the Blue Jay Way, which is my sustainable framework for fat loss and body sculpting that takes this particular program on a deeper level so that you can get the confidence that you want and have the certainty to show up in the places where God has been calling you to for divine alignment, right? Mission and purpose. My name is Coach Reva. I love you and I care about your well-being. Until next time, bye-bye.